Hello, everybody. Welcome. Beautiful Tuesday evening here in Nigeria. I don't know where you are, but I hope the weather is just as nice where you are as I am. My name is Alvina Baby Ibru, and this is Real Talk Women. Yes, we will be on live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. And you must have guessed from the topic, Real Talk Women, that this show is all about female issues. But don't go audience, don't say it's going to be boring, because we're not going to be talking about the normal female. We're going to be talking about things that we are talked about all the time. We're going to go deeper. We're going to go to issues that people don't really talk about much because maybe they're embarrassed or because they're scared that if they speak out, they will be looked down on, etc., etc. So that's what the show is all about. Real Talk Women every Tuesday, 5 p.m. And like I said, my name is Elvin. Now, three other hosts with me on the introducing you to the only man in the show, Mr. Mac Godwin. And as my other colleagues come on, I will be introducing them as well. Hello, Mac Godwin. I like your bow tie. How are you today?
Very well. I'm well. I'm fine. Thank you. Yes, real talk. We're on again.
Yes,
we're on.
Real talk.
Real talk.
Okay, let me tell you just a little bit about Mark. He does a lot of things, but his main area is in media. Mark is a media mogul.
That's correct. Yes, thank you very much. That's what it is. Also joining us are some of the ladies. Yes, Juliet. Juliet is there with us. And Juliet, how are you today? How are you, Juliet? Yes, you're welcome. Real Talk Women. And we are back.
I'm just waiting for everyone to come on. I can see Juliet's name. I can't see her face.
Yes, she's not there. Go ahead. Thank you.
Well, while we're waiting for the ladies to join us, the topic for today is why is it that a lot of women don't support other women? In several cases. In several cases, they tend to support the men instead of the women. This is a very general, I'll have to say this every week. When we talk, it's very general. I'm not talking about, my uncle is different because he's like this, or my aunt is different because, no. I'm talking about a general thing. When you look at society as a whole, a lot of women don't support women in a lot of areas. They would rather support men. Before I go on, let me introduce you to Juliet. Hi, darling.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening. Good to see you today.
Good evening. Nice to see you. How have you been?
Fine, thank you. Good. Heat
Great. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
quickly, Juliet is a barrister. She represents the Generation Z, as they call it these days. She's our baby in the group. And she's also a politician and a farmer. And she's very passionate about her people. She's very passionate about Nigeria and making an improvement in Nigeria. So welcome, Juliet. As I was saying, the topic today is about why is it that women don't support women in a lot of areas. I'll give you a couple of examples. There's female circumcision. This is probably more practiced in Africa rather than everywhere else. A lot of people think that it's all been it has died out, but I can assure you it still happens in certain parts of Africa and even in Nigeria. It's still happening. So that's female genital mutilation.
Yes.
Now, it is likely that the mother of the child who is getting circumcised was also circumcised. And most times, the ceremony is carried out by women, not by men. It's the woman that holds the knife. So that's one situation. You've gone through this. You know it's not been a nice experience. They want to do it to your daughters, and you're looking. You're not doing anything. You're not starting a revolution. You're not trying to stop it. That's one instance. And then another instance might be if a woman is getting abused by her husband and she runs away to her mother's house or her sister's house. A lot of mothers in Nigeria will say, my dear, it's your husband, you have married him. So it's for better for worse. Go back to your husband's house. These things happen. So there are a lot more areas to it, but let's start with those two areas. Juliet, you're a young girl. You've got your
It's something that is very obvious. It's very
yeah.
obvious, and we get to see it each and every day in various sphere of lives, be it in the corporate world and every other part. But I think it's because it has to do with the, maybe should I say, the physical makeup of the woman who sees the other woman as a competition or something towards that nature. And so she wants to, I think this stems out of envy, jealousy, and inbuilt character that I really cannot be able to explain. So most times you just see the other woman, the other gender as a competition, and easily reach out to the male gender who actually they feel has more compassion. I think women see men as more compassionate towards them, and so they tend to go show the man support than their fellow woman. So they are more of like antagonistic to each other because they see themselves as competition. I think it starts from there.
Sorry to cut you off, Juliet, but you're speaking in general terms. I'm being specific, about the topics I mentioned. For instance, if we're talking about female genital mutilation, that has nothing to do with competition. That has nothing to do with competition. You as a woman, you were circumcised. It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't a good life. Even up to when you got married, having the unpleasantness of having the man penetrate through that area. I don't know if you know how intricate it is. Proper female circumcision. You actually don't enjoy sex because your clitoris is cut off completely. And then you have a daughter and you allow it to be done to her as well. So that doesn't have anything to do with
yes. Okay, I was coming from the general angle why women
yes.
actually
Yes.
okay, yes.
That's
Okay, now
because
this specific issue, yes.
Yes, we have to face the actual, there's certain areas that is confusing to me.
I think this female genital mutilation that's been going on in Africa, it's something that has to do with both sexes, because most times these women, their kids, most times the husbands are usually in support, and so to avoid issues, most time in their marriages they tend to do what the husband says or his mother-in-law, because I've seen and I've read stories whereby a woman would decline, but the husband and his mother will insist that the child who was born into such family be circumcised. So most time women agitate against this kind of activities, but one of the factors could be their husbands. What's his say towards that, and how does he feel? Because they see women as when she grows up, she'll become a prostitute, so they need to tame her. I don't know where that mindset is coming from, and I don't know how it's came about, but I think women just need to do more to do away with such mindset, because circumcision or no circumcision, whoever wants to go out of his or her way to be promiscuous will still do it, and it's not about the circumcision or not. I really cannot really pinpoint one issue that causes women to support such, especially when they know they've gone through it and it was painful. Yes. But I think maybe because it was done when they were little, so they would maybe they outgrow the pain. Because when you're talking about the pain, some of all these aged people do not understand, because it was actually done when they were younger, when they were kids. But now talking about if it was done when they were much older, like a teenager or something, I know such a person would not want. You hear them talk, because it was the time they were showing in Oyo State, because those are the people that have domesticated the laws against female gender mutilation, but some still do it. And I hear older women, they keep talking about it, saying they don't like the experience because to them, theirs was done when they were much older. So I think such factors, I don't know, has actually helped to make the flow and see it as a bad experience. I don't really know why they still keep doing it. Either their husbands or their mother, and all their mother-in-laws supports it.
We can dwell into it deeper a little bit later. But one of the things you mentioned, Mark, if you could come in here, I'd be very happy. One of the things you mentioned is that perhaps one of the reasons that some women support it is because if they don't do it, the child might grow up to be promiscuous and then be branded as a prostitute or whatever. Because obviously, if you don't have a clitoris, you're not supposed to have the desire to have sex. So that's supposed to keep you tame. So let me put this question to you, Mark, as we've entered that issue of prostitution. How often do you think you call a woman a prostitute? Is it something you say? Is it something that men say a lot? Because I know that women call women prostitutes a lot. I don't know about England or other parts of the world, but in Nigeria, the first thing when a woman is gossiping is, that Juliet, ashawo. They do it all the time. Or you're in a club and a girl walks in with a very slinky dress. Ashawo. There's almost nothing you can do in Nigeria that will not brand you as Ashawo. If you're very successful in the business world, you might say, Juliet, how come that woman is the DG or so? Ashawo now. This is the people that are the business. Women do it all the time. So, Mark, I mean, how often do men know? Because we're always coming down on men. The only men I've ever met in Nigeria that called me Ashawo are policemen. But I've never met a man that I've argued with or whatever that has said, get out, Ashawo. But a woman to your face, you say, get out, Ashawo, look at you, Ashawo, come on. So, I mean, do men address women as Ashawos a lot? Because I think this is something women do to each other a lot. Which kind of support? If we're supporting each other Ashawo, we're supporting the men.
Yeah, exactly. That's absolutely correct. From the men's point of view, that's a very that's not a very good word to call somebody. It's not a good name. It comes to that when, like you said, maybe some very angry moment, like we just saw played out in Anambra State, Nigeria, and the two women calling themselves names. So men don't normally use that words. We don't call women like that, just like that. But when a woman shows some trait of immoral, not too decent character, yes, some men could come down to that level and say, here in the West, we don't use the word. It's not as you pronounce it in Nigeria, in Africa. Here they use the word. They call the female gender of the dog. Yeah, female gender of the dog. Yeah.
Why are you bitch?
So
okay.
It's not. They are not good names to call people. Even if a lady has been into that profession as a source of livelihood, you still want to respect her image and her person, But
in that sense, it means that men are a lot more respectful to women than women are of each other. And I'm glad you brought up that topic of what happened between Obiano's wife and Bianca Ojukwu. In case you don't know, watching out there were two very big women. If you're not familiar with Nigerian news, they're two very prominent women in society, and they basically almost had a cat fight in public. And one lady said to the other, go and sit down, you are shower, which in Nigeria, shower means prostitute or whore, or slut, street worker. And
Bitch.
this was in complete public, at an official function. Now, do you think, Juliet, that two men could come to that in something so official? Sorry, before we go on, let me introduce my darling sister who just came online, Reverend Annie. Hello.
Hello,
Can you
how you
hear
guys doing? Thank you,
us?
my
Good. You
precious
look
diamond. How are
great.
you? How are you,
I'm
my
fine. Love
queen? Good to see
very
you.
nice. So we
Chile, how
started
you
off
doing?
I'm fine, ma. Thank you. Good to see you. Good evening, ma'am.
Evening, sweetie. Hey,
okay, so
the king.
we started off our discussions. The only man standing. Reverend
Ah,
Annie, we started off our discussions, and the topic for today is why do women tend to support men rather than women in certain situations? And what we're talking about right now is the incident that happened between. Actually, we diverted it a little bit. We're now talking about how women treat each other, because if you treat each other badly, then you don't really have a right to say men should not treat you badly. Because if you're treating each other badly, then hey, anyone can treat you badly, if you know what I mean. So I was asking Juliet if she thought that the way that fight happened between Obiano's wife and Ojukwu, Bianca Ojukwu, do you think two men could come to that in such an official setting? I know they do it all the time in House of Reps and all that, but in like a party official function, do you think that imagine a man just going up to the other guy and saying, go and sit down, you dickhead, or something, do you think it would happen? Juliet,
Okay. Okay. I
Okay,
think it happened.
it's rather unfortunate that that incident took place because one is an important day in the life of Governor Soludo and Enugu State, in that matter, an entire family. Again, in life, you can never say never. We can't predict anything in life. Anything can happen. But whatever the situation, I don't think it was the best, attitude. And also, personally, I know that men do have their own thing now and again, pending the situations. But I don't think it's as bad as women. Women tends to, explode in the public, the way, they see issues and react. But I think it would have handled differently.
okay.
And I also think that,
Okay.
even men, when they do that one is really, really bad. But I think in this very situation, it would have handled differently.
Okay, I don't want to divert from the topic. Mark and Juliet, please let me see you, because this is a general thing. The topic is why do women tend to support men rather than women in certain areas? And I gave a couple of examples, and there's certain areas. Okay, Juliet, you're a politician. What do you think the ratio is of women voting for women? Do you think women vote for women enough in politics? I don't know.
I
I
think,
hate politics. I hate politics. I
you
don't
know,
know the statistics or anything, but this is your field. This is your area.
during this just concluded FCT elections, it was so glaring because I know the women actually come out to vote. And in fact, I have pictures to depict that. And that was why even during the 1st of March women's celebration, as we entered into the month of March, a lot of women will say International Women's Day. But I consciously did something. I put together about 8 pictures that showed various polling units on the day of election. And in fact, the majority of numbers on the polling units ground and aggregated voters were women. But the vote didn't count in the sense that women voted for me because I was the only woman in the race, in the ring. And the campaign photos, I also put them closely so women can see it. So it's very obvious for anyone around the world to see it, because the campaign photos showed women happy, jubilating, celebrating with me. We were laughing. In fact, the pictures showed smiled, shared, and ate from me. So what went wrong? We were the blessings. Even the poor, there was even another picture I was in their midst, and if the entire women in those gatherings, about 100, voted, I'm sure we would have had a huge number. But I don't know what went wrong. Why don't we? And I tried as much as possible not to use the gender issue to campaign for votes, but I also made them understand that no woman has ever come out in the history of Cuba to vie for this position. And not just that, and now a woman is coming out, see her as your daughter, look at the age, and you shouldn't expect that someone of my age to be able to give you huge money, because where would you even expect that I would have gotten it from? So we gave what we could afford. So please, on this note, and not just because I'm a woman, please don't vote me just because I'm a woman, but because I have I have record. I was born in Cuba. I'm also a lawyer. I'm educated. I would also help you people push for basic things that should make your voices to be heard. I made it very, very clear. In fact, the videos are there for anyone to actually go check out. But still, the women did not, and they were so happy. Oh, they celebrated me. They made me feel good. They made me feel welcome.
So
But they didn't
let
vote.
me say, they didn't vote for you. They voted for men. They voted for men. Is that what you're saying?
That's it.
Yes, but I don't know if it was because I'm not from their land, because it was obvious there was ethnicity divide, because I was not just the only woman, but there were 3 of us that were they are not from Abuja. So I was also among those 3 that were not from Abuja. So they actually would have voted for their own brother. So it's understandable to some extent that they wouldn't want to vote an outsider because of this policy that Abuja should not be given to the non-indigenous, but for the indigenous. Yes, so it could be that reason. And I heard that some husbands were watching to make sure their wives didn't vote for a non-indigenous.
So
yes.
Are we going to try and blame the men again? I don't think so.
Bad.
I don't think so. Let us not blame the men again, because
so we're even peeping from their windows, like they didn't want to come out. So it's better they don't vote.
Okay, now that's a Nigerian situation and your area situation. Mark and Reverend Annie, do you have any idea on statistics on women voting for women in other parts of the world? For instance, when Hillary Clinton was running, any idea what the statistics were like?
Yes, yes. The Hillary Clinton situation was a strange one too. The women didn't vote for her. Yes, statistics showed it. It's as it is in Africa, so it is, I think, around the world. You women are your own problem. Women don't support women. It's a fact. I mean, you know this. Men.
Only we are allowed to say so, Mark. Don't say so. 3 of us will beat you. Only we are allowed to. Reverend Annie, why do you think women didn't vote for Hillary Clinton, or generally women? Why do you think women don't vote for women?
I can actually hear you. The volume is low. I'm actually struggling to hear.
Oh,
it's your phone then. It's audible enough here. No, I think it's Annie's phone. Annie, I think you need to adjust your phone. It's laudable from the control room. But I'll help Annie answer that. I think also it's still these what you call infighting, or probably jealousy and the women ego thing, who does she think she is? I'm better than her and all that, So Barrister Juliet just gave us a scenario of what played out in Abuja, and it's how it is around the world. It's just, I think it's just a gender issue, a female issue that could be settled as time goes on. Yes, it could be settled because now women are beginning to realize themselves. They're seeing themselves as partners, as friends, as sisters, as So I think as time goes on, this infighting will be minimal.
Well, maybe this is an area that we could go back to with what Juliet said earlier on when she said women see other women as competition, as a threat, as this, as that. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Because I mean,
I think a lot
of
of
course.
women. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, darling.
Can you
Sorry,
hear me?
darling.
Can you hear
Yeah, I
us?
can hear
Can you
you
hear
now.
us?
Yes, I
Okay,
can
go
hear
ahead.
you now. Yeah, I can hear you now. I think a lot of women that are not secured within themselves, they feel insecure. So when they see their fellow women, that insecurity plays up. Even when you are not thinking anything, even when you are not even on their lane, you are not even nothing like that. They already start fighting within themselves, and without not realizing that they are actually, when they do that, they are suffocating, the potential of themselves and other women. So as Godwin said, that very soon, the early the better, for them to realize that you don't need to actually begin to feel insecure about yourself, or because at the end of the day, you are good in what you are good at. Your gift is your gift, and nobody can be you. You can only be yourself. So no matter how anybody try to copy you, is duplicate. It can never be real. It can never be original. So there's no need for women to do that. And the earlier they come together, despite the challenges, despite the difficulties, the better.
We're a very peculiar lot. I know that in a lot of situations, for instance, if I'm traveling or if I've just come back from somewhere and I have to go through customs, I'll be saying, oh God, please let all the customs officers be men. Please let all of them be men, because if now woman, she must stop give me wire. There's so many situations like that. You go into an office and you're looking for a contract or something, and when you walk in and the guy at the top is a woman, you say, oh God, I'm not going to get this contract. And one, women are known to be tough, really tough with women, even with gynecologists. I don't know if you've had this experience. Male gynecologists tend to be a lot more gentle with me than female gynecologists. So what is the problem? Surely as a woman, if I was a gynecologist, I would have more empathy for a woman, knowing how horrible it is to be examined in that way and so on. But instead, it's more like all of us are women. After all, we are all. Why do we do that? Why? Do you think it's something to do with the sexual balance between men and women? Is it to do with the men feeling that we're the fairer sex and therefore they feel they should treat us better? Or do you think it's because when it comes to business, for instance, even you as a woman subconsciously, whether we like it or not, we go down and say, he like yellow woman, he like big KB. That means I have advantage. But then if it's a woman, they're like, yeah, no advantage again, game over. But all this issue.
Oh, very nice.
I mean, this is real talk. This is real talk.
Real talk.
I know how many times I've asked. If I'm looking for contract, I'll say, hey, the guy like yellow, you like Ikebe. You like half cut. If you don't like half cut, if you like black, maybe go call my colleague, she black, or make she be the one to go. But once you know it, once the woman hey, you sure say we even won't go. Do you know what I mean? So why do women not tend to support each other like that? Let's talk about business. Let's talk about business. Mark, you're a businessman.
Yes. Yes,
This
no,
happened.
you are giving real. These are issues, topics, discussions that people will probably not want to dive in, but you're saying it, and it's a fact. It's high time Africa comes out from the shy, that behind the curtain situation where people don't want to say things that affects their daily lives. We're shy in Africa. Africa,
Yeah,
we don't come out. People,
yeah,
I notice people don't even talk to themselves, looking into their faces. People are talking and their high heads are down because we're shy. We're naturally shy. Now in the West, people puts it. A boy could come to the mom and say, "Mommy, why did you do this? Papa, why?" Everybody is bolden to the face here in the West. So
Okay, let
it's good.
me ask, uh, let me
You're
let me
saying
ask you a
what you're
question
saying.
for business in business terms.
Yeah, in
If
business term,
a man
let
walked
me.
into your office, if a
Yeah,
man walked into your office, would you feel threatened at all for
no.
business?
Well, again, it's the environment you're in, the location. In Africa, yes, some men are intimidated by fellow men, but uh, because skills and expertise and knowledge differs. A lot of some men don't have it, and maybe he goes to the office, this other man, and the man is all endowed with knowledge. Obviously, he will be intimidated. So, but here in the West, it's not, that doesn't happen because
I beg to differ. I beg to differ.
okay,
I
go
do.
ahead.
I do know some men in the West that even in the workforce, they will not promote another man. A man in a certain position will not promote another man for fear that at one point, this young guy who's really intelligent is gonna get his job. So I don't think an African thing. You keep coming back to Africa as if we're living in the bush,
No,
Mark.
no, no, you're
Looking for your
you're listen,
Mind
you're doing
yourself. Mind yourself. That's your Italy.
no, no, you're doing a good job, but when it comes to it depends probably on what office that is. On the professional line, we want the person that has it professionally, the person that can give results. So it doesn't really matter if he's a younger person and he's more. It depends on that on the given situation. It depends on, but in Africa, I think it happens in almost everywhere. Men are intimidated by the other man. The other man feels the other man is a threat. The other one in the offices, politics,
The
local
business
governments,
world.
factories, everywhere. So
So,
but
thanks. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
no, it's
it's
okay.
my thought process. Yeah,
Yes.
your generation Z, be truthful. Our motto on this forum is thine own self, be true. Eh? Say you hearing me? You want to go? Okay. Truthfully, truthfully, if you are going for a job interview or you're going to seek for something financially, a contract or whatever, at the back of your mind, do you ever say to yourself, I hope it is a man? That's the Oga that you're going to meet. Truthfully, do you ever say, I hope say na woman, or I hope say no be woman? Because I do it all the time. I hope say no be woman, no.
Okay, my last employment,
Shake your head.
my last employment was a woman was the boss, and I already knew she owns the firm, and I went to apply. But the only thing was that I had to work my way through to understand that she wouldn't want you to be flamboyant and all that. So I had to tame it down. I didn't make my hair. I didn't put much makeup, and that idea, she bought it. That was the truth. So now 1 week into the employment,
why do you think she would want you to be flamboyant? Why
because
don't I want my female staff to look beautiful with makeup? What's the problem? Why must
you
is
know
it because I'm born again or
the
what?
she normally she's beautiful. She's somebody that I even admire to today. But I just knew that the mindset about some people, because I won't generalize it, is that you, especially some women, you shouldn't be in competition with them, especially when they are the
So
boss.
we're back to this competition thing. So because she's the guy, she must be the finest.
It's something like this. It's not something they would actually tell you in words, but you just have to have to subtly understand that they don't really say it as they don't say it ABC. You just have to understand that this is what they don't want. So I had to go, and most of my colleagues that actually went in for the interview, some came with so much audaciousness and they were not picked. But 2 weeks into it, where she even was surprised, like, wow, Juliet, is this you? I'm surprised. So you can be this. Because I had to now into the job, she wanted you now to dress beautifully. So now I had to give her who I was. I didn't fake it. It's just that the first time I had to fake it to be employed. I had to will I say fake it? I had to make sure I bring it down to the barest minimum, no much pancake. But now into the office, into the employment, I'm now making up, and she's like, "Oh wow, surprise!" But that didn't stay for too long. I could also notice that there were some little. But behind me, she's always saying, "Dress like Juliet, dress like Juliet," telling other people to dress like Juliet, because all the two of us that were actually employed, one kept on that nature of not putting on much makeup, not dressing too loud, and all that. So I think if I was going for an interview and a man, I would actually prefer that a man interviews me, because I wouldn't want the woman to see me as a competition. I wouldn't want her to see my hair as something that is too big, too expensive. I wouldn't want her to calculate my jewelries. So I would prefer a man, because I think men see most time they're actually attracted to a woman, even if they don't want to pursue it lustfully, but they're like, she looks good, she smells nice, they want to be attracted by something.
So it's to our advantage if it's a man. That's what I was saying earlier on. But a lot of women will not.
Yes.
They will not admit this. But I always hope I meet a man, because it's possible that he might think he's a fine baby. Even if she sabi the work like that, it would be nice for me to be looking at her every day in the office. Anyway, Reverend Annie, this one is for you. Let's talk about family. I've heard of lots of situations where women are getting abused by their husbands, mentally, physically, emotionally. They then leave the husband's house and they go to their mothers or their aunties and their sisters. And instead of saying, no, don't stay there, or let this man not kill you, or come and stay with me for a while, let's see if we can sort it out. What they say to their female children is, my dear, it's your bed, though. Go and lie in it, for better, for worse. Go back to your husband's house. So that is how you have to live now. Even if he's beating you, manipulating you, he's your husband, though. Why do you think we do that to each other? Because I would never do that to my daughter. Never. If I had a daughter and I hear beep, I would say, my friend, come. Go sit down for your mama house. You have a house. You have a home. You know, you came from somewhere. So what? Mark, where are you? Come, don't be scared. Come. I know this is a delicate topic for men.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yes, let Reverend Anne go ahead.
Okay, I think it's all this kind of allowing women or young ladies to go through domestic violence. This is a topic that is so dear to me, and this is my core. It's a kind of thing that I do and I advocate for, against. I think it's culture and tradition And because the society has, look at family values, if a woman be with her husband, be it the man is so violent or maltreat the girl, and then when the girl leave, society tends to tag the family, they will tag the family. Oh, you know that family, that's how they are. They don't stay in husband places. So they are going up this and that. So see now, look at the mother, look at the father now, he's drinking, and so because of that, people now die in silence. So when they look at the label, the stigma, the whole process, and probably if your daughter come back, you go on a meeting or something, they'll be looking at you one kind, oh, he didn't train her properly, oh, this family, in fact, they are the worst family ever. Then the girl is dying in silence. By the time you know it, they lost their child. So, but because of awareness, because of education, because of human rights, and I always say to people, when you are raising your children, be it man, be it woman, make sure you put self-confidence in them. Make sure you put self-value in them. Make sure they will be able to advocate for themselves. Make sure they will be able to come out to tell you what the problem is. Because sometimes, because of this kind of situations, they just bottle everything in. They will not say, they will not speak out because of the shame, because of the stigma. And by the time you know it, most of them commit suicide and then take their lives. So a situation like this, what my organization do, for instance, I invest on seminar, workshop, creating awareness, letting women know that no, it must not, end like this. We've lost so many. No matter the situation, you must not. Mind you, there is no perfection in any marriage. There is no perfection in any relationship. Be it man, be it woman, there is no perfection. And you must not solve things by violence, by, letting a woman go through emotional trauma, be it sentimental, physical, spiritual, because there's so many things that happen to women beyond, beating. Beyond, there is a lot of trauma that if we begin to, envelop it here, we're not going to finish today because that is deep. So my thoughts and my advice would be, don't stay in a relationship that will not create a happy environment for you.
Yes, that's obvious. But what we need to really say, Annie, is that if a woman is in that situation, as a woman, you need to support her. That's what this topic is all about. You need to support her rather than, I bet it's your husband, you go back to your husband's house. You need to support each other.
Yeah, but don't forget, don't forget that, as I said, is creating awareness for the mother of the girl. Mind you, you need to come to the bridge to get to the level that I have to actually put a strong face to protect my child before you give that support. If you are supporting somebody who cannot support herself, you are not going to get anything. So the most important thing is to make sure that the support
from
system
the beginning,
is there for the person that is. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because
Totally.
if you and I don't know how to support, how can we support someone else? And that is why experience is the best key. When people have experience in certain situations, no matter the situation anybody find themselves, you will not be easily to condemn anyone because you know that you are already in that shoe. You know what it is in that shoe. So you'll be able to, gather the person with grace and put the support system, and then you get the right results.
Fantastic. Thank you, Reverend. Believe it or not, it's already been 5 minutes since we started the show. And we've run out. It seems that we could be here for hours. Unfortunately, we cannot be. But in case you've just tuned in, this is Real Talk Women. The show is anchored by myself, Elvina Baby Ebru. My colleagues are Mark Godwin, Reverend Annie, and Juliet. And we will be here every Tuesday at 5 p.m. live. Now, before we go, like I said, in case you just tuned in, we've been talking about why women do not support women in a lot of situations, and we've covered female mutilation, otherwise known as circumcision. We've covered women voting for women. We've covered domestic violence, how some mothers will say to their daughters, go back to your husband's house, even though you're being abused. And we've talked about jealousy. We've talked about where society places women, and perhaps that is why we don't support each other in certain areas. And we've talked about competition. So before we go, as I always do, very briefly, please, I want each of you to say something to women out there, because like Mark said, even though he's not allowed to say because he's a man, we are our biggest problems. Women are the biggest problems of women. So please, let me start with Reverend Annie. A quick word out there, then Juliet follow, and then our last man standing, Mark. A quick word to women out there about supporting each other before we go. I've lost your audio. Oh, there. I lost you before, Reverend Annie. You're back. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you for watching the We Talk Women. My advice would be, whatever you are going through, please, women, let's support each other, because it might be one person today, tomorrow might be your turn. So let's support each other. Let's encourage each other. Let's have that support system and work better with team spirit, with teamwork. We can achieve better. So there's no need for us to run anyone down. Let's support each other. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Annie. Yes?
Okay, my advice to the women out there, thank you for listening. And I would just like to say this, please, when you see the next woman out there, do not assume she's with an attitude. Try as much as possible to show her love. And I know with what everyone has said today, the other woman will be willing and ready to reciprocate. And even if she doesn't reciprocate, just be the better person. Thank you.
Thank you, Juliet. And Mark.
Beautiful. What can I say to the ladies? Listen, ladies, you should know that you are the mother of the earth. And women, if you can't be the mother of the earth if you're in disarray, if you're not united. So let the ladies, let women do all in their power to be one. This way, a lot will be achieved, a lot. In fact, the world is waiting for women to come together and make impact, because a lot of things rest in the hands of women. So we look forward to women getting it right, loving themselves, believing in themselves, and working together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. And a final word from me in conclusion. I am tired of women complaining about men. The man is this, the man is that. The man is this, the man is that. Because we do a lot to ourselves, not to reach our full potential. And most of the time, the men do this because we allow them to do this because we don't support each other. For instance, if you watch a rap video, the women are always naked. I always say that if I'm going to be a musician one day, all the men in my video will be naked. I'll be the only one dressed fully. If all women got together and said, look, we are not going to be naked in videos anymore, guess what? The men will have no choice but to have fully clothed women in their videos. If women got together and said, we're not going to allow our daughters to be circumcised, guess what? Men will not start marrying men. They still have to marry women that are not circumcised. So let us stop complaining about man. Women, in conclusion, support your female first before you support a male. You will be shocked how the world will change if we can just get together and support each other. And that's all I have to say for today. And